Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Love the North. Thanks for joining us. If you like the material that you're seeing on here, please feel free to subscribe. It really does help the channel grow, and growth is all what we're about right now because I think some of the messages that we're putting out there are pretty important. My name is Michael Richardson. I'm a local author. We've started a segment on here for Beyond the Ranks to speak to veterans of the military, first responders, just to get their story and share that with the world, because a lot of them go unsung. Tonight is a really good example of that. We're going to be talking more with mental health issues for first responders particularly. Joining me again tonight is Ryan. He'll be speaking to us on this more in depth. On our last segment, we didn't get to cover everything, so we asked him to come back. So thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoy what's going on. Ryan, thank you for being here again.
Thanks for having me back.
I really appreciate you being here. So last time we just skimmed the surface of the two organizations that you're with, Wounded Warriors and All OK.
That's correct.
So I'd really like to hear more about that tonight. Let's start with All OK. How did you become involved with them, and what is it? What's their main mission?
So it's kind of funny. It got to a point with my my desire to raise awareness that I just started to put forward some initiatives on my own. The first one was the lanyards that you're wearing. I wanted to come up with something that was simple, would get the message out there. Let's Talk was very popular with Bell, and the semicolon in Warrior is a strong mental health symbol for most out there. And the lime green is the color that they go with.
Oh, perfect.
So luck would have it that I was able to get our police association to get on board and help me produce through one of our local group businesses. So King Sportswear in
nice.
Hanmer was the ones that is the company that makes them for us.
Very cool.
So I was able to get them out there, sell them amongst our members, and I put it out over social media, and I was able to get quite a bit of buy-in, where I was able to raise a bunch of money and give it to an organization I knew would be able to help all first responders, including those in the north, because we didn't have a whole lot of groups here that were willing to come and that we could be able to say that the money that we were raising would be able to benefit our members here.
Right.
It's all well and good to buy something in the interest of mental health and wellness. It's hard to spend money on something that you know is never going to come back and help your people. So when I did that, I had been deployed to Ottawa for the trucker rally.
Oh, really? Okay.
And when I was there, I had been following All OK, Matt and Foddy. Matt is a now retired military officer in Ottawa, and his wife started All OK, mainly with military personnel. If you're military, you know that the All OK is that radio signal that somebody will call out and ask for the All OK, and everyone's good when they give it back.
Right.
So the mental health side of it is giving that shout out to your people, giving that shout out to your friends and your colleagues, even if it's in a text message or in just wearing their logo, to know that you're asking, is everything okay? Are you okay? So it started with the buddy checks, and I really liked it. It was, I bought into it right away just from the concept of it. I had brought them a couple lanyards. We didn't actually get to meet. I left it at the hotel. They dropped me some swag off, and that's how it kind of happened. And then in my swag pack, so it was like a hoodie and a t-shirt, was an ambassador application.
Oh, wow.
So they asked if I would be part of it and if I would be a first responder that would be willing to push the narrative on mental health and wellness. Shortly after going down to meet with Steve Topham with Wounded Warriors Canada to present them the check from the money we raised. And it ended up being at Queen's Park at the police memorial there.
Oh, very cool.
I don't even think I was home and in my driveway in Sudbury, and he was calling asking if I would be an ambassador with Wounded Warriors.
Wow.
So I had a lot of questions. Like, I'm a full-time dad. I have 3 kids, full-time job. At the time I was in our crime unit, like I talked about before. So very busy, married to your phone, married to your calls. You're never not at work essentially.
Right.
What is this going to mean? And all either of them really wanted was just, speak up when you can, use our platforms when they're available. If we have events, go to them and just, be our voice up there. So that's how it all kind of started. When I left our crime unit and I went back to the road, I really noticed, how hard it was on our patrol members. It's hard in our crime units for different reasons, but the pressure, the calls are always there, and the push. You don't get a chance to recover. You don't get a break. In our crime units, you can build it in a little bit. On patrol, you don't.
Yeah.
Right? You never know what you're going to get. You don't get to set a schedule. It's just go, go, go.
God.
Right? And you can't even sit in your car eating a sandwich without someone coming up to engage with you. Sometimes negative, sometimes positive. And you're that target that not everybody thinks. Unfortunately, in recent days, it's been proven, that officers are, targets. We
Yeah.
never have been like this.
Not in a positive light.
And
Yeah.
But just targeted. Like the last time we had an officer that was killed, was just had a funeral service for yesterday in Montreal was an incident in Ottawa, and they're very, very far and few between. After that was Honger in Toronto going to get a coffee and shot in the head, right? Like these aren't happening. They weren't happening, and now they're happening. So now the worry and the fear is getting higher, right? So we talked just briefly on the building that resilience. It's going to happen. You're going to see something's will happen to you that's going to change you. And unless, someone's out there saying, go talk to someone, get ahead of it. And unless organizations are willing to say, okay, we got to do this on a regular basis. This can't be, once when you get hired and then good luck, it's on you. You know where the resources are. They have to know that, people aren't going to go, right? Especially when you're young and full of all the,
trying to prove yourself too.
Right. And
I can't show
invincible.
Weakness. Yeah.
Right. You're
Yeah,
invincible. Nothing's going to happen to you, so you don't have to worry, right? You're going to be able to chase that guy down. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to be like the movies.
I can handle it.
I can handle it, right? It's when it doesn't go well, right? How are you going to deal with it when it doesn't go well?
Yeah.
So we need to, and All OK is really good with it. Wounded Warriors are also good with it, but as it stands right now, you have to seek it out. You have to go to boots on the ground. You have to reach out to 988. You have to go see a doctor. It's all covered and it's all free. And the support is there. And if you have to go off, you're going to be fine.
Is that stigma still attached to this that, even once you're established in your career, geez, I can't.
The organization will never do it. The stigma comes more from the people you're working with and your peers, right? The public gets it, right? When the stats get put out there, how many, traumatic incidents an officer is seeing compared to the general public, or a paramedic is seeing, or a firefighter seeing different scenarios, right? Different things they're seeing.
Yeah.
But there's no real, mechanism right now to say you have to go, right? This isn't when you're ready. This isn't when it's gotten too far. This is you have to go every 6 months. The only way the stigma is really going to end is if
it becomes commonplace,
right? And the only way that's going to happen is if organizations start saying, okay, every 6 months, you got to go see a doctor just to make sure everything's good. It's like your checkup with your family doctor, right? If I can tell by the gray in your beard, you're old enough where you have to go to the doctor every year now for a specific test,
Yep.
right? But if no one told you had to do that, then many would not go, right? Because if I don't go, I'm not going to know what I don't know, and I'm fine,
Yeah.
right? And now, you're finding out when it's too late, right?
To the same token, you had mentioned before, if I have that lump in my
Yeah.
neck, as long as I don't go see that doctor, it's not cancer.
Right.
Until he says those words.
Right.
So it's the same thing with mental health. God, I don't want to admit that I have a problem.
But you're not going to have PTSD per se if you
Yeah,
get
if you
ahead of it.
address it,
Right.
ahead of time.
And I think they're just so scared, right? They're scared of the mandatory. Every time I bring it up, they're scared of the mandatory word.
I think a lot of people think back to like the 50s and 60s way of doing mandatory things. Next, done. Next, done. If it's embraced properly and presented to these people properly, and that conversation comes around often enough, I think maybe that might help.
I don't think it's a hard sell. I know that the police college is getting better with promoting it. I know that some of our young people that are getting hired are more open to it. But when you're in that lineup room with 20 officers and you get that young officer that stands up or says something, and you get the senior guy that ridicules him, unless you have somebody like myself with enough time on and enough respect and has done all the things to say, hey, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Right? It's legitimate what he's going through. We need to help him out here in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not afraid. Like, you can come at me all you want. I'm going to be able to back up what I'm saying, and I'm going to be able to, thankfully, and part of it is I've done the things. Like I said, I've been in the drug unit. I've been in our crime unit dealing with, the most heinous, crimes that against children and even grown adults, right?
Yeah.
I've come back to the road. I never took time off. I probably should have. And I had to deal with that and manage it, and it probably cost me a little bit.
And raising a family at the same time.
And raising a family and not, trying not to
dump that on your kids or your partner.
And I have a son who's 20 now. When he was old enough in high school that I had to start worrying, or when he started university, I had him for like 30 seconds, because he was in and out.
Yeah.
And every 30 seconds I had him was a serious conversation. And my wife had to say, you got to try to carve out some time where you're not,
doom and gloom.
Just telling him worst case scenario stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have two daughters, one that's now 17 and one that's 6. So now my fears are way different with my 17-year-old, and they have been for a while. And, my 6-year-old, I don't worry too much because we're on her, but, and we're around. But you still have that worry, right?
Well, I think a lot of parents these days, some people even say overprotective. You've walked in that world. You've seen what's out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that fear is very legitimate. And I think even the people who aren't aware, the fear is very legitimate. How do you mitigate that? How do you step away from that?
A lot of just monitoring and watching.
Really?
Making sure that, the people that are coming around, like I've often said, and I told my 17-year-old daughter, don't shy away from the fact that people know I'm a police officer. She started dating a boy, and she said, he's scared of you. I'm like, why is he scared? I'm not scary. She's like, your tattoos and your shaved head and your beard and your job, my friends think you're scary. I'm like, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to say anything to them unless it needs to be said. Right. Being held accountable is huge. I think, way off topic, sorry. Accountability is not something that's really being worked on with society as a whole.
Absolutely.
So the kids know, and they've known since they were little, that if friends come over and those friends know you don't get away with much at my house. You may end up crying, but I'm going to talk to you about it. I don't ever talk louder than this.
Right.
I don't ever raise my voice. It has a very weird, Liam Neeson and Taken kind of calm and effect.
Yes.
And it even happens, with the people I deal with on the job, right? Like when you're dealing with somebody and they start to act out and you tell them in this voice and in this tone, this is what's going to happen if you keep up acting like this. They look at you and they kind of have a weird, I'm like, I don't think you want that.
Yeah, I'm just
right?
delivering the facts.
And it always works. Well, it works the same with kids, right?
True.
Yelling, swearing, amping up is only going to perpetuate that. That's how you get the answer. That's how you get the reaction you want. That's how you get the result. If you hit, they hit. Then you get mad that they're hitting. Well, they're hitting because you hit them, right? When you're dealing with the public, I don't swear, and then I call them out on that.
Yeah.
Secretly, and in the back of their head, they know that it's not okay, right? I don't hit people. I control people, right? But, you know, I've never had to hit anybody in the face. No one's ever hit me in the face.
Well, that's good.
90% of the people are just trying to get away, right?
Yeah.
But the, you know, getting to the, you know, the managing it, it's taken me a lot to just kind of trust the process I've created with them, trust that they're going to make the right choices. It's hard when your 20-year-old's off with his buddies in university and, you know, make the good decision, right? Understand, you know, don't think about what I would think. What would your grandmother think?
Yeah.
Right? Because I know you aren't necessarily going to care about me.
That's been my guiding light too.
And if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes, right? If your kid's acting out and you have to say, what would dad say if he saw this right now? And the first reaction is, well, I shouldn't have to do that. But then use your mom, right? Use a teacher, right? You don't do this with them. Why are you doing it here? And there's a whole other child psychology thing behind it, being that they act like that because they feel comfortable with you. So you have to manage that, right? Same as, you know, the officer that goes to work and is dealing with everybody else's problems. He's dealing with the kid that's acting out. He's dealing with the domestic. And then they come home to a domestic or they come home to a kid that's acting out, and they don't manage it the same way because they don't have to, right? Because that's my wife. That's my kid. I can be myself. At work, I'm the uniform
policeman.
I'm a professional policeman. I know what I have to do. I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. Right? What needs to happen is they need to give themselves that grace, explain what's going on, and be able to say, okay, I can't deal with this right now. And, you know, a couple things I'd seen that had worked for me anyways, and my wife, is you come home from a bad day, or my wife comes home from a bad shift of some terrible calls that she's had to listen to or dispatch. An officer got hurt or somebody died on the phone with her. You know, she comes in and she'll tell me, I'm at 10% today. And I'll be like, okay, I got you. I'm 90, right? Or I'm 100%. Maybe I wasn't at work, or maybe I had a good day, right? Or I come home and say, just to let you know, I'm 15% today, right?
That's fantastic.
Right. But I don't have to tell you my story. I don't have to tell you what I heard today or what I saw. With her, it's different because she's going to hear about it. So if something's going on, I'll call her and say, hey, I'm okay. If someone in the comm center leaks it, everything's good. Right. I'm all okay. Right.
Right.
And then maybe I get into it. Maybe I don't.
Now,
and we don't teach that to our young people.
No.
And that's a mistake. That's where this resiliency, that's where this moving forward is. I tell young guys, don't make the mistakes I did. Don't go home and tell your wife you just did 120 on LaSalle at 2 p.m. She's going to think you're not coming home. Or you're not being careful. She doesn't know you're driving with your hair on fire because it's one of the most exciting things you can do. Right? She just sees danger. What could have happened. And then you have, you know, what just happened out in PEI, where you have these paramedics that are killed in a head-on collision, right? We don't know what happened. And then these two cadets on their way to their first day of OPC, one died and one's in critical condition, right? If you would have gone home and said, man, we just almost got hit by this truck and, you know, all this, and it was crazy. I did all this maneuvers I learned, and your wife or your partner is like, so what you're saying is you almost didn't come home today.
It might be cool the first time, but the 10th and 12th
time.
So
we need to have that voice. We need to have that, keep it in lineup. Tell them you had a really fun day, but narrate it.
Yeah.
Edit it. So
And
you're
then
still sharing, but you're not scaring them.
I was going to say, you still need an outlet
Yeah.
for that. And these groups, All Okay, Wounded Warriors, they've got, it's not just sitting down with a counselor, just talking with a friend
Right.
can often be the difference between life and death.
That's the All Okay side of things. That's the, messaging and saying, hey, if you need something, or I saw you today, you didn't look your best, right? Let's go for a coffee, right? Sometimes it takes 5 times.
Now, is that the group that you're going to Europe with?
So that is Wounded Warriors.
Wounded
I got
Warriors,
asked kind of last minute. Somebody backed out and I got asked to go do the battlefield ride in France.
Wow.
Which is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of logistics behind it. A lot of fundraising that needs to happen. There's some costs that I have to incur that I got to manage, but it's an amazing opportunity.
Now, are they international then, Wounded Warriors, or is that a Canadian? Okay,
right.
But now are they going to be joining up with?
I think it's just ambassadors and riders from, and they're not all military. They're not all ambassadors with Wounded Warriors. They're just people that have an interest in doing this, right? Some sponsors are the ones going themselves, right, to be part of it, right?
That's fantastic.
But leading up to that, and locally, I've been part of the National Peace Officers Memorial Run.
Wow. So
the website is 460 KM, I believe, is their Instagram page, and officers across the province meet in Toronto and run for 3 days in Southern Ontario to Ottawa.
Wow.
So it's a relay. So not everybody's running 460 kilometers. I have a tattoo of it in the number of times I've done it.
Wow.
My max was, I think, 120 in the 3 days.
That's awesome.
So it's taxing. Like you're running all day, sleeping, not doing the things you're supposed to do, getting up in the morning and running. And it's chaotic. Like it's a lot of shuffling. And then you run into Parliament Hill. And then you go see the wall of our fallen. And then the next day we march.
Wow.
Last year, I started doing the ride. So the ride to remember is 300 riders from across the province, all either police officers or family of the fallen. SOUL, which is Survivors of Law Enforcement, join us.
Wow.
And they are, I think it's all women, wives or spouses of officers that were killed in the line of duty. So they join us. We start at Aylmer, the police college, and we ride to Ottawa. So it's 700 kilometers, but everybody does that ride.
Does the whole trip. So
day 1, you're doing 210. Day 2, it's 200. Day 3, 175. Day 4, 125. Wow. Rain or shine. Fully escorted. And that is something.
A sight. Yeah, I can
it is. You get some real specimens on those riding teams.
That's awesome.
And then locally they do one. There's 5 rides across the province. Tour de force with the OPP. And we bring all those people together. Again, raising awareness, raising funds for this.
Well, and that's the key. We're looking to raise awareness. We want to spread this message as far and wide as we can. We're going to put up the websites for all these organizations, or as many as we can, in the description. If you are watching this and you even think there's a possibility that you may need some help, don't hesitate to reach out, even if it's just to your friend. Find somebody to talk to. If you need it, please seek professional help.
And if you see somebody you think needs help,
call them,
text them. Don't
leave them alone.
Don't leave them alone.
I really want to have you back, especially after the Europe trip. We'd love to have you back in here and do this again. I can't thank you enough for coming in. I think you're carrying a pretty heavy torch, and I just hope we've given you a big enough platform to yell it from, and hopefully we can spread the word far and wide. And I can't thank you enough for.
And if I'm all in one piece, I'll text you all okay at the end of it.
That's awesome.